Hello, everyone. This is Pedro Romero reporting on the 2021 LCS Championship playoffs. I have here with me Destiny, the support for Immortals, who just took down Dignitas in a 3-0 clean sweep to advance to the second round of the lower bracket. Destiny, thank you so much for coming. And to, to start off, I'd like to know how you're feeling right now.
I feel pretty good. I think that we had a solid showing today. I think we showed a wide variety of styles that we played in every single game. So yeah, I'm pretty happy that we're able to execute all three compositions, and yeah, it's nice to advance.
So many people, there were some people that predicted Dignitas to at least make this series a bit more competitive and also win on top of that. And so, heading into this series in particular, what did the team focus on, and also what did you focus on personally as well?
I I believe that like Dignitas have a very clear way of winning the game, and it's something that our team identified really early. So we focused around playing a lot of different compositions to punish this, such as in the first game we heavily played around mid lane. Yusui generally prefers to play melee carries, so we put a focus on that. Then in the second game, we also opted into playing Thresh Aphelios. I think Neo and Afro are their best chances of winning. I think they are the strong part of their team. So we kind of opted into playing a skill matchup, and it went really well for us. For myself, I was kind of personally just focusing on my team, like myself and my team's performance. I put a big emphasis on communication in the series and trying to make sure that everyone's on the same page. Um, but yeah, I think overall it went well.
I mean, for how you mentioned communication, there was none. It looked like there was none, absolutely none at all. I mean, you yourself, you played pretty well in all of the games, particularly in that second game with Thresh with your bottom lane partner Cephalius. And so, um, how did you see your performance for this series?
I would say that I'm happy, but I know there were things that I could have done better, and it's something that I will have to focus for the next series. But yeah, overall, I'm quite happy with my performance. I think bot lane went pretty smoothly, and I felt like overall everyone on our team had standout games. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how I performed and how my team performed. We just need to work out some small things that we did poorly, and yeah, I'm pretty confident in continuing to advance.
During earlier in the series, your head coach, Giloto, mentioned how basically you guys took the entire 2 weeks in between the regular season and playoffs, just focused solely on Dignitas. And so, did he give what was his central message to the team as you guys were preparing for that series?
So preparing for the series, we definitely had a lot of conversations of how we wanted to play it out. Gohoto presented himself with an idea, and everyone on the team agreed with it. We all thought it would work, and it was he did it in a good manner. I think we as a team, I think we had really good preparation coming into the series, and I think that's why we 3-0'd. I think we were way more prepared than they were. I think they played the exact same that they did in summer, so yeah, I was really happy with how we operated as a team and how Gohoto prepared us and put us on the same page.
Yes, and it did look that you guys played much differently in the playoffs. And so, I already spoke to Ray's previously at the time of this recording, and he mentioned how although you guys were 2-3 against Dignitas during the regular season, um, it didn't really play a role. That aspect didn't really play a role into how this series went. And so, I'd like to know on your perspective, what does best of five offer in this series that a best of one during the regular season can't.
I think best of fives shows the strengths of a team much more, and obviously same with weaknesses. I think a lot more factors come in, such as adaptation, seeing what the opponent's playing, what you're playing, what you need to ban out. Resilience. I think the players have to be mentally strong. They need to be physically fit. They can't get exhausted over 1 or 2 games. If you have a bad game, you need to bounce back straight away. You can't you can't just dwell on the loss and like let it happen. When a best of one happens, like you can lose and you can be tilted all night and like you can express yourself how you feel. But in a best of five, I think you need to express yourself differently, and you need to identify what went well, what went wrong. Some teams do this better, some teams do this worse. But yeah, best of fives, in my opinion, definitely shows which team is the better team.
And during the regular season, well, looking into you personally, you returned to the playoffs during this regular season for the first time. Well, let me rephrase myself again. You returned to the playoffs for the first time in more than a year since spring 2020, in which you played for Origin back then. And so for you, how does it feel to be back among the running for one of those world slots this time in for NA?
It feels really nice to be in playoffs. Last year, playoffs versus G2 definitely went very poorly. So it feels nice to have another chance at redeeming myself. I think a lot of people consider me to be a weak player. So I feel like this is the best opportunity to change that stigma. I hope that we can continue to show strong performances. And yeah, hopefully we can do something good, you know? Like, I don't think many teams expected us to 3-0 dig, and I don't think many teams expected much of this team at all. So I I really just want to show that we're a good team. We have good individuals, and yeah, I'm grateful to have the chance to go to Worlds. Whatever happens, happens. You know, like I feel like everyone on the team has had a good attitude coming into this playoffs. So yeah, anything can happen.
It speaks volumes to the way you describe your team because throughout this entire year, you Immortals have been alongside with another team, one of the only squads to have not changed their lineups in through summer and spring, and so heading as we're in playoffs, as we're in the thick of this playoff race for Worlds, um, how can you describe the team's growth from the start of the year until now?
We didn't come together as a team as early as others in spring. I had some visa problems, and same with Ray's. So we didn't actually have to like boot camp before the season. We were literally like rushed in like 4 scrim sets and straight away LCS. Um, I think the first game of the season was like kind of awesome, like with Revenge and myself and like beating TL. Like that was a huge surprise. I think we were incredibly variant in spring. It was definitely a testing season for us. We were trying a lot of different picks and not understanding how to execute on them or how to fundamentally play the game right. I think coming in from spring to summer, we definitely came together on the same page. We had a really big boot camp between spring and summer, and I think that's why we actually look like a much better team in summer. We went through a lot of concepts as a team, identified what strengths we have, what weaknesses we have, what we need to improve on. So I think having that time between spring and summer to identify these and work on these did wonders for us. I think we had much stronger showing in summer. It's kind of unfortunate that the results didn't carry over because of our spring results, but yeah, it was really nice to see our improvement as a team. I think what Gohoto did in the offseason was really good. I appreciate everyone on our team because we were the first team to start practice in the offseason. We were playing like a month and a half before the season started, so um, yeah, I think that is a big reason why we look so much stronger in summer.
Um, well, I'm sure you probably must have heard about this overall theme that is gravitating around this playoffs. EG's head coach Peter Dunn talked about in the lead up to playoffs that this is a battle for the soul of the LCS, in which teams with differing playstyles, ergo playing conservatively and playing proactively, are facing off to decide who will be those representatives for Worlds for those representatives for NA for Worlds later on in China. So I'd like to know, is such a battle happening in your perspective?
I think a lot of the LCS teams play differently, so I do like somewhat agree that everyone has different win conditions and priorities and the way that they see the game. I think, for example, TL definitely shifted the way that they played from regular season to playoffs. Now that they have Alfari, they definitely heavily play around him, and they looked really good in their series. So they play through their soul enders really well. I think Dignitas, as an example, they played through Yuzui for pretty much the whole of summer. That's kind of why we slaughtered them today, because we knew they would probably try to do the same. For ourselves, I feel like actually, you know what? I'm not going to talk about our team because I don't want to spill the beans. Um, I think TSM control mage mid. They just play scaling, team fighting. EG, they play through Jizuke. He's kind of a beast right now. But yeah, I just think every LCS team is different. Everyone has their own win condition, right? And I think that's why Peter Dunn said that. And yeah, I can definitely see it.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what Immortals have in store for us in subsequent rounds. And so we're running out of time. And so at the time of the recording, we're not sure exactly who Immortals is going to face. And so with that said, I'd like to know. Well, I'm offering you. I mean, for myself. Um, do you have any final words for the fans as you guys are preparing yourselves for that second week of the lower bracket, without knowing until later on in the next coming days who you're going to face?
Thank you for all the fans who have supported us. Thank you for the interview. Yeah, just thanks for being there for us. Obviously, we've had a roller coaster of a year. Feels nice to be here in playoffs. I hope my preference is to play TSM over TL personally. Even though we haven't been in them the whole year, I definitely feel more confident playing against them. But yeah, I hope we have a good showing, and yeah, thanks for believing in us and supporting us.
All right, we'll see more of Immortals in the coming week. With that said, I've been Pedro Romero. He has been Destiny of Immortals, and I'll see you all later. Take care, everyone.